You step outside into the coldest morning in years. The air bites. Your car won't start. And somewhere, someone says the words you've heard 100 times. So much for global warming. It feels like the ultimate mic drop. If the planet is heating up, why are you standing in a record-breaking freeze? It seems obvious. It seems like proof. But what if I told you that the cold snap making you shiver might not be evidence against a warming world, but a strange, twisted byproduct of it? Welcome to Breakdownz, the story behind everything. Today, we're unraveling one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of climate science. How a warming planet can still deliver a deep freeze right to your doorstep. Stick with me, because the answer flips everything you think you know about cold weather. To understand this, we have to start with a mistake almost everyone makes without noticing. We confuse weather with climate. Weather is what's happening outside your window right now, this hour, this week. Climate is the long-term average, measured across decades and across the entire globe. A single freezing day tells you about as much about the climate as a single rainy afternoon tells you about the ocean. And when scientists measure those long-term averages, the trend is not up for debate. The world is warming. But here's where it gets interesting, because that answer alone feels unsatisfying. It doesn't explain why the cold sometimes seems to be getting more violent. And the real explanation begins in the last place you'd ever expect. The top of the world. The Arctic is warming faster than anywhere else on Earth, somewhere between 2 and 4 times the global average. One major study found it heated nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the planet over the last 4 decades. As the bright white ice melts, it exposes dark ocean water underneath, which soaks up even more heat, which melts even more ice. A vicious, accelerating loop. Now this is where you would expect the story to be about heat. But the warming Arctic is quietly setting a trap. And to see it, you need to meet the invisible force that controls your winter. High above your head, there's a river of wind racing west to east around the planet. It's called the jet stream, and it acts like a fence. On the cold side, to the north, it locks away the frigid Arctic air. On the warm side, to the south, it keeps things mild. And what powers this fence? The temperature difference between the freezing pole and the warm tropics. The bigger that difference, the stronger and straighter the fence stands. But now think about what the Arctic is doing. It's warming faster than everywhere else. So that temperature difference, the very thing holding the fence up, is shrinking. And when the fence weakens, it stops running in a tight, straight line. It starts to buckle. It sags into enormous, wobbling waves, dipping far to the south and looping far to the north. Some scientists argue this is exactly what's happening. A wavier, lazier jet stream that lets Arctic air come pouring down into places it was never supposed to reach. If you thought that was the whole story, though, it gets one layer stranger. Because there's a second guardian sitting even higher up. It's called the polar vortex, a spinning ring of cold wind that circles the Arctic like a lid on a pot, trapping the coldest air on the planet at the pole. When that lid spins tight and fast, the cold stays put. But sometimes the vortex gets disrupted. It weakens, it wobbles off center, it stretches, or it even splits in two. And when the lid comes off the pot, the cold doesn't just leak out, it floods south. This is what happened in the winter of 2014, when the phrase polar vortex suddenly became a household name and cold gripped over 200 million people. It happened again in February 2021, when a stretched vortex came before the catastrophic freeze that knocked out power across Texas, causing over 200 deaths and becoming the costliest winter storm in American history. And it struck Europe in 2018 when an event called the Beast from the East buried the continent in Siberian snow. So the case seems closed, right? Warming Arctic, wavy jet stream, broken vortex, killer cold. A perfect chain. Except here's the twist that separates real science from a good story. Scientists don't fully agree on it. This is the part most videos won't tell you. While some researchers see a strong link between the warming Arctic and these cold outbreaks, others have run the numbers and found the connection weak, or argue that the wobbling jet stream happens naturally on its own, with or without a melting Arctic. The world's leading climate authority, the IPCC, looked at all the evidence and rated our confidence in this specific link, in their own words, as low. Not wrong, not debunked, just not yet certain. And that honesty actually leads us to the most important truth of all. The one that finally answers the question we started with. Because here's what is certain. Even with these dramatic cold snaps, cold extremes across the world are becoming less frequent and less severe, not more. In a stable climate, you would expect to break roughly as many record highs as record lows. But across the United States in the 2000s, record highs beat record lows by about 2 to 1. The coldest days are warming faster than the average ones. Winters, on the whole, are not getting colder. So the freeze on your doorstep was never proof against a warming world. It was, at most, a single wave in an ocean that is unmistakably heating up. And possibly, just possibly, a wave that a warming Arctic helped send your way. The next time you are standing in the bitter cold and you hear someone say so much for global warming, you will know the truth is far stranger than the slogan. The cold is not the opposite of a warming planet. Under the right conditions, it might just be one of its most surprising disguises. A reminder that the biggest systems on Earth rarely behave the way our gut tells us they should. If you found the hidden story behind this simple idea fascinating, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to Breakdownz for more of the stories behind everything. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.